As America reopened for the summer, and I feel it. I believe it's real. The campaign also got underway. Look, we have a 6-month campaign ahead of us. It's going to be just Ali Frazier. For those of you of the right age, you can remember the 3 great fights between Ali and Frazier. This is all rolled into one. And it did not go, the opening round did not go well for Joe Biden. It started on Friday, right after I got off the air. He was on Charlemagne the God, and this was the exchange about which people spoke all weekend, cut number 2.
Thanks so much. That's really our time. I apologize.
You can't do that to black media.
I can't do that to white media and black media because my wife has to go on at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump.
It cut out. What happened? Did it freeze up on it?
Trump, and you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump.
Stop right there. If you have trouble deciding between me and Trump, you ain't black. Honest to goodness, Charlemagne the God is a huge deal on the radio. He's a huge deal. I mean, he's not me, but he's a huge deal. And I think he was dumbfounded. And later on, he said this basically means that the vice president has to put an African American on the ticket, and I agree with him. It's just taking for granted the black vote. And if President Trump gets into double digits, this election is over, and it's hard to pull. I think it's very hard to pull. Then Joe Biden went on with Joe Kernan on CNBC, which is the closest he gets to a tough interview, cut number 3.
I'm prepared to say that I have a record of over 40 years and that I'm going to beat Joe Biden.
Yes, you heard that right. Can we replay that again, please? Cut number 3.
I'm prepared to say that I have a record of over 40 years and that I'm going to beat Joe Biden.
Just one more time, because I just think no one believes it. This is not altered. This is not edited. This is Joe split screen. If you're watching on YouTube at the Hugh Hewitt channel on YouTube, you can watch this yourself. Joe is on split screen with Joe Kernan, cut number 3.
I'm prepared to say that I have a record of over 40 years and that I'm going to beat Joe Biden.
I'm going to beat Joe Biden. I'm telling you, cut number 4. Then he has a very hard-hitting approach to China, which is about to bring martial law to Hong Kong. Cut number 4.
I'd be at the UN with my UN ambassador, and I'd be insisting and calling out what the United States has always done. Overwhelming violation not only of an agreement, but of human rights. The silence on our part has been devastating for people around the world. All it does is encourage thugs and dictators, which, in fact, I think the president has some kind of affinity for. Look at who he embraces and look who he pokes in the eye. The idea that we would remain silent. Look, we have governed not merely by the example of our power, but by the power of our example. That's why the rest of the world has repaired to us. It's the power of our example. And we should not remain silent. We should be calling the rest of the world to condemn their actions.
You know, I guess the vice president doesn't pay any attention to what, for example, Robert O'Brien did on Meet the Press, which is condemn the General Secretary Xi. And when the vice president said that President Trump was xenophobic for stopping flights inbound from China, don't forget that. Don't forget that. Donald Trump swung back on Full Measure with Cheryl Atkinson yesterday, cut number 12.
What do you think is Joe Biden's strongest feature as a competitor in politics?
Well, I would have said experience, but he doesn't really have experience because I don't think he remembers what he did yesterday. So how is that experience? He's been there a long time. He was never known as a smart person.
Pick one good thing. Okay, what is his weakest point?
I can't tell you. I mean, I'm really serious. He's got many. I could talk about weak points all day long.
That was Donald Trump with Cheryl Atkinson, and I think the jab at the beginning is what you're going to hear a lot of. Cut number 12 again. Cheryl Atkinson sits down with the president and asks him Biden's strongest point. Cut number 12.
What do you think is Joe Biden's strongest feature as a competitor in politics?
Well, I would have said experience, but he doesn't really have experience because I don't think he remembers what he did yesterday. So
Stop.
how is that experience?
You know what he's saying? He said you can't have experience if you don't remember what you did. You can't have learned any lessons from the past if you are losing your grip on the present. And I'll tell you, when I hear things like cut number 3, play it again. Media Matters, this is for you, Emo. Cut number 3.
I'm prepared to say that I have a record of over 40 years and that I'm going to beat Joe Biden.
Look, I know that goes on my board, by the way. I have 2 full lines on my board at the California production studio of just Joe Bidenisms. And you ain't black and I'm going to beat Joe Biden are 2 in 2 days. What's it going to be like when he actually starts to campaign? JD in Las Vegas, how is the reopening going in Las Vegas, JD? 1-800-520-1234, connection to the Hugh Hewitt Show.
Well, Lake Mead is jam-packed. They actually had to stop people from coming. Las Vegas is opening up. I think we should have shut down the national media for 3 months, not the country.
Well, I think it was a good idea what the president did. I believe strongly that we would have been in much worse shape if we had not done the shutdown. We need time for therapeutics to figure out what it is, to figure out how to treat it, to figure out ICU wards, isolation wards. It's been tough, but we are back.